everyone, how are you doing today? It's Marla, hoping you are having a great week. This really was not the video I was planning on videotaping today. I was actually going to videotape a video of some of the Lancome products I purchased at a recent makeover that I had done. I normally don't go to those kind of makeovers where you go and have one of the makeup artists do your makeup because I always end up getting suckered in to buying too many products. But a friend of mine who is a big Lancome user kind of wanted me to buddy along with her. So we went together, had our makeup done, and I ended up buying more than I probably should have bought. But I'm going to do a video of that later this week. I'm going to actually show you what I purchased, and she's going to actually let me take some of her products and also show you what she purchased. She has different skin than I have. She has very dry skin, so she purchased some other products that I normally wouldn't purchase myself. But I'm not normally a big Lancome person, but I just kind of got suckered in. But this has kind of been a bummer of a week. My husband was supposed to fly out this Friday and visit my son out in California. They had a great trip planned. This trip has been planned for over 6 months to go to Yosemite, and Yosemite is burning right now. And I feel terrible for that whole area out there under that fire watch. It's really kind of scary, but it's just really kind of sad that this whole trip has been just kind of flushed down the toilet. So we've been trying to scramble to try to see what else to do, and I think he's probably going to fly out there and they're going to go to Big Sur instead. But anyway, that's kind of why I just didn't feel like even whipping out all this makeup this week. It's kind of been kind of a depressing week. But let me get started on this. I'm going to kind of give you my take on some of the products that a lot of people go and use on their face, cosmetic products like Botox, the injectables, and kind of when to kind of go with Botox injectables and when to start thinking about a facelift. I've worked in big pharma for a very long time. I don't work for a pharmaceutical company anymore, but I had for many years, and I've worked with many doctors over the years, and I know several plastic surgeons. So I kind of know what it takes to be a plastic surgeon and what's important to look for in a physician when you're considering having any type of cosmetic procedures done. Now, this is not me kind of questioning whether or not anyone should have any cosmetic surgery done. I think if you feel that having some type of procedure performed on your body, face, whatever, whether it be breast augmentation, abdominoplasty, mastopexy, facelift, whether you get Botox or injectables, it's really kind of your decision. If it's something you think that's really going to make you feel better about yourself, then go for it. I just am not particularly big on injectables because I already have one autoimmune disease. I have Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, and I have fibromyalgia, which they don't really quite know what causes that, whether it's a autoimmune disease or not. But because of that, I'm very reluctant to have anything kind of injected into me that may set me up for a possible autoimmune response reaction. I know nothing, I don't think it's ever been documented with injectables or Botox, but I'm just kind of being overly cautious. Plus, as I've said before in my previous videos, because I have fibromyalgia, I'm in pain a lot of times, and my face is kind of one of the few places in my body that I don't have pain, and the thought of having a bunch of needles put in my face kind of is not real pleasant for me. So, but anyway, if I didn't have fibromyalgia and if I didn't have the autoimmune diseases that I do have, I would definitely be probably the first one in line to have this stuff done. First, how do you find a doctor to perform procedures that you can feel comfortable with and make sure that he has the right qualifications? Your best bet, if you don't know any physician or have no word of mouth or seen of someone that's actually had a procedure done and had a great result with, is to go with a board-certified plastic surgeon. Now, I have a bunch of notes here so I can kind of remember everything I want to cover. The one nice thing about a board-certified plastic surgeon is you know that he's gone through very rigorous education standards. He's had his undergraduate degree, he's gone to medical school, and he's probably gone to a 6 to 9 year fellowship or residency program after that, specializing in either, general surgery and then going on into plastics or something like that. And then being board certified means he's taken an oral and written test after all of that in front of a peer group on a board, gone through all of that, passed everything, and kind of gotten the stamp, gold seal stamp of approval. That is why it's kind of a big deal to go to a board certified plastic surgeon. Also, if you go to a board certified plastic surgeon, they are required to perform surgeries at accredited facilities. So for example, hospitals obviously need to be accredited, surgery centers, but if they have a surgery center inside their office, it must be accredited, which means it must be examined by an independent source. They have to look at the anesthesiologist and the nurses and just see exactly if they're all qualified to be in there. Look at their records, look at their safety records, look at their equipment, look at the medications they have, make sure they have a crash cart, make sure they have everything there in case there is an emergency. It's just kind of really important that a facility is accredited. So that's another thing about a plastic surgeon when it comes to kind of more invasive procedures like a really big surgery. Botox and injectables aren't a big surgery, but still you could potentially have a reaction. And finally, you want to make sure you have a doctor that has privileges at a hospital. That's very important in case of an emergency, in case something goes wrong with a procedure. You want them to be able to admit you into a hospital, and if they don't have privileges at a hospital, they can't do that, and that is also kind of important. Just because a doctor says he is a cosmetic surgeon does not mean he's a plastic surgeon. All plastic surgeons are cosmetic surgeons, but not all cosmetic surgeons are plastic surgeons. A regular MD can go to a non-accredited course for a weekend, get certified, and be able to hang out a shingle that he is a cosmetic surgeon. The American Board of Cosmetic Surgery is kind of not a board that is recognized by the American Board of Medical Specialties. I don't want to make this confusing, but the American Board of Medical Specialties is a nonprofit group that was developed sometime in the 1930s to kind of say, okay, yes, this is a legitimate specialty. Yes, this is a legitimate specialty, and there are certain requirements in order to be board certified in that specialty. Plastic surgery is one of those. Cosmetic surgery is not really one of those. So you really want a board certified plastic surgeon to be on the safe side. And finally, just because after I've said all that, someone is board certified in plastic surgery does not necessarily mean they are technically better than someone who is not a plastic surgeon. You can go through all that training and still not be as talented at performing procedures, especially procedures that require, I think, someone that requires a little bit of talent. For example, rhinoplasties, things like that, even facelifts. Some doctors just kind of are more artistic and can kind of see things better and work better with their hands than others, and that's just kind of the way it is. So find a good doctor. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Now, when it comes to when do you get Botox, where is Botox injected, when do you get injectables, and when do I just kind of opt for a facelift? Mainly when you think of a facelift, you think of kind of like sagging skin. So if you have a lot of sagging skin, really jowly, saggy neck, things that need to be pulled up, you're talking more facelift. Injectables are not going to help you much with that really, because injectables are more fillers. They kind of plump up an area, kind of soften wrinkles, but they're not going to get rid of the real saggy skin. Botox, on the other hand, is more of a, think of it as a muscle relaxant. You're basically injecting the Botox into the muscle to kind of prevent it from contracting. Just kind of relax it, smooth out that muscle. Let's start with Botox first, because that's kind of the easiest one to talk about. All right, Botox. Where does it get injected? Normally what happens is you'll walk into the doctor's office, he'll put you into one of his rooms, he'll make you kind of squint your eyes and wrinkle your forehead, and he'll kind of take a look to see, first of all, do you need Botox? And then if he thinks you do need Botox, what he'll do is he'll cleanse the area off. And I'm going to do what he probably would do. He'll take, every little doctor loves their little felt tip pens. And what he'll do is he'll mark the area. He'll make you squint your face, wrinkle your forehead, and keep marking all those areas that he thinks he should be injecting the Botox. And what are the normal areas to have Botox injected? Mainly right here, where you have your frown lines, up here for those frown lines, and right here you can also be injected for smile lines. So he'll mark you like this normally, and they'll either put on a topical anesthetic, but really what they're kind of, a lot of doctors are moving to, it's a lot faster. They'll get an ice pack. They'll ice the area for the first spot they're going to inject, or they'll have the nurse ice it while the doctor injects. Ice it and inject. Go to the next area, ice, numb the area, inject. You can move pretty quickly all around the face doing that. It could basically almost do that whole area under a minute. A lot of times doctors with both Botox and injectables will kind of underfill things, because that way they'll have you come back and kind of tweak it after the fact. If they overfill you with a filler, there's a problem, because sometimes it's almost hard or impossible to kind of get that taken out once it's put in. So it's better that they kind of side on or err on the cautious side and don't kind of overdo you at first and have you kind of come back and maybe tweak it. Botox does not require any allergy testing. It's not a protein. It just comes from, I think they make it from a bacteria. But this is mainly kind of the area right up here, between here, the lines here, and the smile lines right here is where you'd be getting the Botox done. Normally, Botox lasts about 4 months, maybe 5 months if you're lucky. The more you get Botox done, the more doctors say kind of the longer it lasts. But routinely, you may be going in there every 4 to 5 months to have it done if you want to kind of have the same look. If you have a very good doctor, do the Botox. You should not have any problems with kind of some of the weird stuff that people say, like droopy eyelids and things like that. If a doctor, it all depends on the doctor's skill. I'm not going to go into any of the side effects of Botox, because that really is going to be between you and your doctor. Everybody's body is different, and that's just kind of something that you would be discussing with your doctor. And I think that is about it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention with Botox is at the injection site, you may get a little swelling, a little bruising. And with Botox, it's not kind of what you see is what you get. Botox kind of works over a period of time. You may not even see any kind of difference for 3 to 5 days, and it still even works maybe 1 to 2 weeks, even 3 weeks afterwards. So Botox kind of is a slow release process of kind of seeing the results. It's not kind of instantaneous. You're going to see kind of the difference. It does take time to kind of have the Botox kind of work and start going and start relaxing those muscles. So not instantaneous. And I think that's everything for Botox. Now for the injectables, when I'm talking injectables, I'm talking about fillers that would be old-time collagen, which I really don't think many doctors use anymore. I don't even know if they make collagen anymore. I know a lot of the companies like Allergan that used to make some of the typical collagens that were rejected stopped making them, because a lot of the hyaluronic acids have kind of taken over for collagen. But collagen was kind of a problem for many reasons, because it was made from a protein. It was either made from a dead pig, a dead person, or a dead cow. And what they would normally do is you'd have to come in, they would do like a little patch test on the back of your neck to see if you'd have any type of allergic reaction to this protein. And the doctor would look at you over maybe like a 28-day period to see if you have a reaction, and then they'd be able to inject you with the collagen. Problem with collagen is kind of unpredictable and very short-lived. If you were unlucky, you may have it last for only a month. Maybe if you were lucky, it would last for 3 months. People don't want to pay for that. I mean, they want the stuff to last for a while. So collagen was a real pain because of the allergy testing and because it just didn't last very long. So a lot of doctors, I don't know anybody really personally myself that uses collagen. Fat injections. Fat injections can be good and can be bad. And I think with a fat injection, it's really important to get a very, very skilled, talented physician that you've seen great results from, more so than even some of these other ones, because fat injections, if they take, can last for years. And if you have a botched fat injection, you aren't going to be happy with that. So you really want a very, very talented, skilled doctor to perform that if that's something you consider. Now, fat injections are a little bit more of a problem because what they're doing is they're taking fat, human fat, from your own body. So obviously you're not going to have to do an allergy test for that because you're not going to be allergic to your own body. And they'll take it from an area like your abdomen or your thigh where you have excess fat cells. So you're actually having kind of an invasive procedure, a more invasive procedure, because they're basically doing kind of a little mini liposuction to suck that fat out. And then they'll clean those cells up, separate them out from the liquid, they'll centrifuge them, and they'll maybe take out the dead cells and get the good viable fat cells, and then they'll inject those fat cells into your face. Problem with fat injections, number one, it's expensive because you're actually doing a little lipo. They have to do all the cleaning up of the cells, and they're not sure how much it's going to take. Very unpredictable. 20% could take, 5% could take. You don't know if the fat cells are viable or not until they kind of try to get them in there. The other thing about that is good things and bad things. Once it's injected, the fat injections can last for years. So it's great if the doctor does a great job and the fat injections look wonderful on you. It's not so great if the fat injections were overdone and you're going to have to just kind of deal with kind of a botched injected face. So I'm kind of not as big on fat injections because of the price and kind of unpredictability. Now, fillers like hyaluronic acid fillers, the two big guns, Restylane and Juvederm, they're made from, I believe, hyaluronic acid, which is derived from bacteria, so there is no allergy testing required because it's not a protein product. And where would you have the injections done of both the fat injections and the hyaluronic acid injections on your face? I forgot to tell you that. Normally where you have those injections done would be, for example, in this hollow of your eye, so the tear duct trough right here. If you wanted to plump that up, they would put injections here and here. Another area to have injections would be to puff up your cheeks to make them look chubby, like when you're a little kid again. And normally what they'll do there is they'll take a line from here to the cheek, and then a line from the nose, from the cheek all the way over. This is tough because I'm trying to do this with my camera. So they'll draw a line from kind of the top of your ear to the corner of your nose, and then look at the pupil, which is right there. Draw the line down. I just can't do it this way on the camera. Okay, what they'll do is they'll draw a line basically from the top of your ear to your nose, and then draw a connecting line from your pupil down to that line they just drew. And that is kind of the area where the most fat is going to be injected. I mean, not the most fat, but the most filler will be injected. So that's the biggest area of the injection. And then they'll kind of fan it out just a little bit more. So they'll have this area right here will be the most injected. And then they'll inject a little bit less here, and then maybe a little bit less right here to plump up that area. The next area that can be injected is the nasolabial folds, which is from the nose down to the mouth. And then sometimes, like I even have these little sad mouth lines right here. They can inject this area right here to plump that up. And if you have lines here, little lines going to your lip, they can inject that. They can inject your lip itself. They can inject your marionette lines, which go down to here. And if you have a really big crease right there above your chin, they can inject that area also. The difference between Restylane and Juvederm. Like I said, no allergy testing, and kind of it's just doctor's preference. I know there's some other ones, but kind of the big guns are Restylane and Juvederm with the hyaluronic acids. And it just kind of, some doctors like one over the other because they're more comfortable using one. They feel like they've gotten better results with one. The Juvederm does last longer than Restylane. Restylane seems to last maybe 6 to 9 months tops. Juvederm lasts longer, 9 months, sometimes over a year. Let's see what else. That's what they feel. Oh, when they do the injections in this area, this is a really painful area to get injections around the mouth. Botox area, not as painful. This area and the lips, super painful. So they may use a very strong local anesthetic with ice, or if you have very low pain tolerance, they may give you basically a nerve block in that area, just kind of numb that whole area. It really depends on your level of pain tolerance. So that's something you really need to discuss with your doctor also. And a lot of times if you are older, you may need a combination of things. If you have super saggy skin, you may need to get a facelift with a little bit of filler, possibly a little Botox. But if things are done by a skilled doctor, you should have wonderful results, but always you need to discuss potential side effects, and you really need to discuss what you are looking for or what you're trying to achieve with the physician. Make sure you have good rapport with the doctor so both of you are kind of on the same page with what the end result is that you're trying to find. Hopefully that was informative. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm kind of a wealth of information with this. I have a lot of close friends who are plastic surgeons, and I talk with them and meet with them a lot, and we kind of are always talking about some of the stuff and the procedures that they do. But just let me know, and hopefully I got across everything I wanted to say, and hopefully it was clear, because I know it's a little confusing, especially with the board certification process. Again, the American Board of Medical Specialties recognizes only certain specialties as being kind of acknowledged or recognized as a real specialty. Plastic surgery is one of them. The board does not recognize the American Board of Cosmetic Surgery. That is not a specialty recognized by that nonprofit group that kind of was set up years ago in the 1930s. So you need to be really careful. Again, a plastic surgeon is always a cosmetic surgeon. A cosmetic surgeon is not always a plastic surgeon. Someone could be an oral surgeon or something, or maybe even a dentist, and go to a course and basically hang out a shingle that he is now a cosmetic surgeon. And you have to be super, super careful about that, and always be super careful about getting procedures done in a surgery unit that is located in a physician's office. You want to make sure that that surgical center, surgical operating area is accredited. If you are having a procedure done by a board certified plastic surgeon, they must operate it in accredited facilities. So very important that everything is up to standard, so all the safety considerations are taken care of. Hope you guys have a great day. I will see you soon, and I will try to get that Lancome video up hopefully the end of this week. Bye-bye. Take care.